Well, even though the students don't head back to school until after the long weekend, teachers were back in class learning today. Over 500 educators spent the morning at the Vic Juba Theater getting inspired by speakers and preparing to take on a new school year.
Once a year opportunity where we get to pull everybody together, talk about what we're going to try to accomplish this year, take some time to look back and celebrate what we accomplished last year.
A big theme of the morning was reconciliation and how classrooms can continue to move forward with new tools and ideas on how to share Aboriginal culture and treaties with their students.
The whole process of reconciliation is about self-awareness and understanding where you fit in that journey of understanding different cultural ways of knowing and processing the world. And we all have a place in that. And I think that's a big part of what we need to work on as we go forward as an organization. And we're working on that from the board right down to the classrooms. So.
Public schools are expecting to see growth in regards to enrollment this year, which the board is excited to see. Well, after $23 million and 2 years of construction, the Cold Lake Energy Center now has a dual ice surface. Kids will be shredding ice on it Wednesday, but our own Justin Marshall got a sneak preview for us.
Justin Marshall from Cool 101.3 at the brand new ice surface at Imperial Oil Place in the Cold Lake Energy Center with Mayor Craig Copeland. What a beautiful facility, launching it Wednesday, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, it's a great facility. I think everybody's going to be pretty impressed. Really bright ice arena. Got a lot of great features.
What are some of those great features?
Well, we got a unique thing is a climbing wall inside an arena with a big glass wall between the ice rink and the climbing wall. Big, huge lounge between the two arenas is going to be spectacular. And, of course, the mini hockey stick rink. I think that's going to really impress the little kids, and it'll be a lot of fun. The idea is here is that as a parent in hockey, you're going to spend anywhere from 2 to 4 hours here, and you got other kids. You've got a lot of activities to come to the arena and keep them busy.
Why put in the extra climbing wall? Why put in the kids' mini sticks and all those extras?
Well, it's just about making your mom and dads happy. So, you know, we want to have more features in the Energy Center. So the climbing wall is pretty spectacular, and I think open for some people to look at from a business standpoint. But the wall is huge, and I think that's those that don't play hockey or soccer. It's another activity that people can get exercise and have a lot of fun here.
How crucial is this for Cold Lake minor hockey as well? Because I mean, you have the main ice, you have the Cold Lake Ice Junior B team, you have the Cold Lake Red Wings Junior A team now. You have a lot of user groups now. You have 2 ice, actually 3 with the North Arena still open.
Yeah, the North Rink's staying open. Minor hockey numbers are growing and figure skating. So this rink here, the new rink, is really going to play well for figure skating and minor hockey. But with having the double rinks, as hockey parents know, that plays well for tournaments. So we think minor hockey and the Junior Bs and the Junior A team can really look at this now and say, you know what, we can host a provincial, we can host a fundraiser type of tournament. And even the Adult Beer League could even consider doing a big tournament here, like in the old days. That's what we used to do.
Is that something the City of Cold Lake is interested in doing? Is bringing sports economics to the city?
Oh yeah, and we look at hotel nights. So groups want to bring in teams. It's all about the hotels. I mean, everybody in the hotel industry is really hurting right now in the restaurants. So the more people that want to stay overnight in Cold Lake, we're all for it.
Yeah. Any big plans, like maybe the World Junior A Challenge in a couple of years after Bonnyville's done hosting it?
Bonneville does such a great job. I don't know how they manage to get it all the time, but we'll look at different options. Right now, we're just going to operate these facilities, but we've never gone out really casting for a lot of that. We got the 55-plus games coming in, so that'll be our first big test. But right now, we're just excited to open up the rink, and then we'll look at whatever comes in front of us. I'd love to do a rodeo, actually, in Cold Lake. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Just take the ice out and have the big bowl-orama right on the ice surface behind us.
Well, I think in the Imperial Place, it would be great to have a big rodeo in there. But, we'll see. We'll let the staff figure it out. And my job on council is just to put up my hand and, make the business decisions with my colleagues. And we're really excited with the way the second arena came in. We're just, the architect did a great job, the contractor, and the city staff.
Well, Michaela, you'll see kids hitting each other on the boards starting on Wednesday. For Cool 101.3, I'm Justin Marshall.
Very cool. Well, after the long weekend, Bonnyville will be kicking off the fall season. Pete Jackson from Boom 95.3 has the details on what's happening.
Hey, what's going on? It's Pete Jackson from Boom 95.3. Here's what's happening in Cold Lake. And we're going to talk about a couple events that are actually happening next weekend, September the 8th and September the 9th. We'll start on the 8th, which is a Saturday, and over in Bonnyville, they're going to be having the Bonnyville Agricultural Society's annual Fall Fair and Farmers Market. It's an absolutely free event to check out, and it's kind of the official kickoff to the fall season. So there's going to be kids games, bouncy houses, wagon and pony rides, 4-H displays, gymkhana, and so much more. Again, the admission is absolutely free, and it's going to be taking place at the Bonnyville Rodeo Grounds. And actually, Boom 95.3 will be live on location, hanging out that day to give you updates on all the fun. The following day, Sunday, September the 9th, the Lakeland Humane Society is having their annual Bark in the Park event, and this event can be summed up as one big dog walk, as participants can go online and download pledge sheets, and at that point raise a little bit of money, come on down for the dog walk, and get together with other animal lovers in the area, and all the money raised is going to go help out the Lakeland Humane Society. After the dog walk happens, back at the shelter, there's going to be a ton of family-friendly activities. There's going to be a barbecue set up, bouncy castles for the kids, lots of different games. For the furry ones, there's going to be free microchipping happening that day, and there's going to be nail trims for your dogs as well. So more information on that one, and to get your pledge sheets, you can download those via the Lakeland Humane Society's website. That's what's happening in Cold Lake. If you have an event you want featured on What's Happening, get a hold of me by email, pete@boom953.ca.
Lac La Biche County is known for having countless lakes, and tourists travel from all over the region for those lakes. Lac La Biche County Mayor and Alberta Municipal Affairs Minister recently discussed showcasing the region as a tourist destination as part of a rebrand.
The Lac La Biche area and county was developed because of its water. It's fishing, it's fur, it's lumber, and obviously oil and gas now. So part of our diversification is try to bring back that the tourism portion of it and a place to be. We are one of the oldest communities in the province. We have 160 bodies of water in our county.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so our initiative is try to ensure Albertans, it's considered Albertans recreation playgrounds, northwest and the northeast, because of the water. So that's a rebranding that we've passed on to the ministry.
Yeah, no, that's great. You know, one of the things in the last few years that you really noticed that through culture and tourism in particular, has been steadily climbing in Alberta. People recognize that there are some incredible communities here and different opportunities, right? So for Lac La Biche, you know, the fishing, I hear.
I'll bring it up, yeah.
A few of my friends that come up here and do that, right? And they love it. So it's something I think that you're right, it's important. We have some big industries in this province, you know, in particular oil and gas and agriculture, the forestry that's doing really well right now. We need to make sure that we, you know, put a little more light on those too, right? Those ones that are growing our communities. And, you know, culture and tourism sometimes, people kind of forget how important that is and what it brings to the community. And, you know, people come here to fish, but then they go into the local diner and they're going to go and spend money there and things like that. So, yeah, I think that's important to be able to do that and go on your strengths, right?
Yeah.
Like being one of the oldest communities in Alberta. Yeah. That's fantastic. And you know, with the Indigenous people around here, all the culture that they have, their art and their language and their music, I mean, that's phenomenal that you guys have that.
Yeah, and I guess when you talk about a little bit about the cultural is we're a French designated community. We have First Nations around us, Métis settlements around us, which only in Alberta has that designation, and we have a White Russian village, we have an Italian, we have Polish, we have the Lebanese have been here over 100 years. Yeah, the Ukrainian. It's multicultural is a word that we had in this community 60, 70 years ago. Yeah. Of our being together.
Yeah, no, and it's good to highlight that. I mean, you know, I live in Beaumont, it's another Francophone community, right? I mean, we're a French farming town. That's how we started, and I speak French as well. So it's neat for me to be able to talk about that culture and celebrate it. But yeah, having all those different cultures that have made Lac La Biche in the area what it is, I mean, to be able to highlight that and talk about that, I think is really something that not every area can do, right?
That's
That's good for you guys to be able to kind of highlight that.
Just on your point of the industries, you know, we have the lumber, we have the water, the tourism, we have mixed farming, and we have oil and gas. Yeah. And so we're well balanced. It's able to get some of that infrastructure in and let people know. Fishing is another one that we're trying to ensure that people can keep some of the fish, and that's something we work with that department and try to move it forward.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And for us as a provincial government, it's one of the things that we've tried to do over the last few years is to kind of highlight the fact that Alberta is very diverse, and there are a lot of good industries here. We talk about a couple of the big ones a lot, and that's great, and we should do that. But we should also make sure that we mention, you know, the ones that are a little smaller that have the opportunity to grow. And, you know, I love the fact that people come here from other provinces and other countries, and they're blown away by our lakes and blown away by how much, you know, lumber we have in the forests and then the rolling plains and the prairies. I mean, it's neat to hear from outside perspectives, you know, them coming in and saying, holy cow, I didn't know you guys had these things, you know? So that's a good thing that Alberta, I mean, Canadians in general don't talk much about themselves. No. And Albertans, I think in particular, seem to not really talk too much about themselves, right? We just get down and do our work and have fun with our families and our friends and live our lives, right? Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you look at it, just the Lebanese been here well over 100 years, and you have to ask the question, did they know how cold it got here in the winter? But I mean, we've stayed here because we came to get a better life for your children and a democratic country, and so and I think a lot of them, I think people forget that.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's a good point. We're pretty free here, you know, and I think that people sometimes we get bogged down sometimes in details, and we all have our own pressures in our lives, but we forget how good this province is and this country are to live in, right? And we're pretty lucky.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, the grand opening of the Murray McDonald Rugby Park in Lashburn takes place this weekend. Alumni will be in 2-4 festivities, which includes an exhibition game against the Dog River Howlers Sunday afternoon. There are also planned training sessions with coaches and players from the Canada National Rugby Program.
Lloydminster has a great rugby program. We have kids coming from Neilburg and Hillmont and Maidstone to play in Lashburn, and yeah, it's pretty broad reaching as far as this part of the country goes.
And those events begin tomorrow morning. Well, the Lakeland Rustlers 2018-19 season begins this weekend with teams getting their athletes acclimatized to campus and training conditions. As Josh Ryan explains, the women's basketball team is eager to take the next step to win a championship.
Women's basketball coach Chris King's program has made 3 of the past 4 Final Fours. With loftier expectations this season, a squad with plenty of returning veterans looks promising thus far in training camp.
The fitness is higher than it was last year. I think that was a big focus for us in the offseason. Obviously, returning 9 players, the caliber of play is higher. I would say we're probably November, January from last year in terms of what we're doing right now. So anytime you have a veteran team, things are easier in preseason because you already have a strong base to start with.
Last year's semifinal loss was an important lesson for the young roster, whose confidence has grown since.
It took us a while to get to that, we want to win, we want to be the best, and I think we're already starting to get there.
Adding guard Tori Dugan, who missed last season with a knee injury, will further enhance the roster and its mindset.
I think you're going to see a big improvement in that in terms of just composure with this group. The first years being second years, but with Tori and with Jade taking a big step forward so far in her skill set.
One statistic the Rustlers should improve on this season is three-point shooting.
Meg Fraz has looked awesome so far, and then you add Atea and Amaya. At any point, we could have 3 or 4 shooters on the floor, so that really opens things up for girls inside.
Lots of teams just rotate through 7 people, and we can rotate through a full 12 if we want to, and that makes us quick off the bench. We're not as tired, teams team should expect lots.
And that increased depth will further upgrade playing conditions for returning All-Star Caitlin Tanita.
I think she's going to get even more looks this year because we have so much more talent on offense than we did last season. So I think her job is going to be even a little bit easier.
Josh Ryan, Newcap Sports.